Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's another competition vlog, but it's not an event vlog because, as you know, it's the end of the season. We are going out with this little lady. Hey, sweetheart. Let's get into it. So, Miss Maggie May is going for her first outing on the lorry since she came home from surgery. that just feels like such a big milestone. It's like the getting back on a milestone. We're putting her back on the lorry. We've entered her for a dressage competition. I wouldn't say she is actually ready for a competition yet. I'm just getting my stuff ready because, as always, I'm a bit short of time, so multitask. Getting some plaiting bands out. So no, as I was saying, she's not really ready for a competition yet, but she is starting to get a bit sassy and a bit full on, which means that she could do with a change of scenery and she needs to get out on the lorry. Now, what some people might have done is like an arena hire or go for a lesson. I actually think nipping out and doing a dressage test is less intensive than an hour's arena hire or like an hour or even half an hour's dressage lesson, because other than the fact that I've got to ride through the test at some stage, that's like literally all that I have to make her do. So yeah, we're entered competitively. Really, I should have just entered HC. I know our transitions aren't going to be the greatest, but what a good starting point it's going to be. So I think we're going to plait you up, aren't we? I made the fatal error last night. She had a couple of tufts on her belly from when I last clipped her, where I think her coat had dried, but it wasn't as dry as everywhere else, and it stuck to her belly a little bit. And you could really notice it once she'd been working. So I thought, I'll just tidy those up last night. I had not realised how much coat she'd grown in 2 weeks. So guess who got a whole nother clip last night? Did you? He says, yeah, I did. Look, you can see. So I effectively did a bit of a hunter clip. I did everything but her legs and her face off, because her legs really don't need redoing yet. They need to look like a skinned putty cat, do they? Right, let's get her plaited. Whoops. Maggie says hi. Hi vlog. There we go. Okay, so I've just got her into the wash box and I'm just debating whether I really need to plait her, and I've come to the conclusion that given it's an unaffiliated competition where I probably don't even want to be competitive, that no, the fact that I smartened her mane up last night will do just fine, and we can give you a quick groom and make sure you're all clean instead. I've been having I had a bad dream last night, dreaming that I got here this morning and there was a big tuft left on her from her clipping, and I am pleased to report there isn't. Obviously it's been a slight worry because I don't like them going out looking not smart. Just a personal thing, I guess. I was really worried with having to clip her last night because actually everybody knows with clipping that they always look better with about a week's growth in anyway, but particularly with a chestnut, and she's liver chestnut, so I actually think that seems to be a little bit worse in its own way. It seems to show the lines up worse, so she gets particularly liney, but I'll let you have a look and judge for yourself. I'm really, really pleased. I was so like OCD trying to make sure I got as much of the lines off as possible, and I think we've pretty much covered it. Good girlie. So she was literally clipped about 12 hours ago, and you can see the odd bit of a sign of clipping, but that shows you how much coat she's grown. So I'd just come to do some tufts on her belly, and obviously that couldn't just be left like that. Good girl. Yeah, so oh, look at those dapples. She's so beautiful. So So yes, I am pleased with myself. It's a bit of a relief to get here and her not be terribly liney. But like I say, I don't think there's any point in getting her too het up plaiting her, because you can see how excited she already is. She knows there's something going on, don't you? Let's give you a groom then, little lady, and I need to trim your tail and brush that. Okay? So I was going to trim her tail, but then I just suddenly thought, when I used to work on the dressage yard, put your tail down. They used to be really obsessed with having super long tails. And get really upset if anybody trimmed the tails. So I'm thinking, if I'm planning on doing a bit of BD, do you want to have a long tail for the winter? I might have to trim it when we start show jumping, but for now we can brush it. She's got a gorgeous tail, bless her. It's really thick, but it's still brushable. Can you hear that? Don't stop just because you're on camera. You're too excited, aren't you? Right, quick groom. I'm going to plait her tail and put it in a tail bag because she's pooing everywhere because she's too excited. So I don't want to get all of that in her tail, and she's just being so sassy. Every time I turn the camera on her, she's like, no, I stand still. I stand still, you see? Oh. Okay, time to get ready. I'm just taking lovely Titan down to the field. He's going down to one of the bottom ones so he can have the company of the boys for today. He's just seen the lorry and he thinks it's very exciting. You'll be out with yourself soon, Tighty baby. There we go. Get him into here. Let's just leave his head collar on, I think. There we go. That's why I like them to have leather head collars, because if I ever want to leave them on, I don't have to worry about it, because I know that if he got caught on anything, the leather would just snap. Right, kids. You right, Munchkin? Good boy. See you in a bit, yeah? Going for a roll, I think. Right, I need to get back to Maggie. Good eggs. Now they're like 2 in, 2 out. They're having to get used to spending some time on their own on the yard, because obviously if I ride Titan, Maggie gets left by herself in the box, and vice versa. So they've been getting quite good at it, and I was thinking Maggie was the best, but when I left her, she was snorting like a dragon, so I feel like she's going to have trashed her stable. I can hear her whinnying. That's probably just because she's excited. She's got a whiff that she's going out. But that's the thing with these slightly highly strung horses. They really like their routine, and you have to just start settling them each time you change it. That's when they get really busy, and then you have to settle them into the next new routine. So once she and Titan are out, can you hear that? Good girl. Once she and Titan are out competing more regularly, they'll both get used to it. They'll never not be excited to go out, because they just always seem to be. They love it, which is a really nice thing. It means they love their work, doesn't it? Right, I'll get her travel boots on and we'll get her on the lorry ASAP. Right, there we go. I've just taken her, hey, steady, her magnet rug off, because I could just feel she'd started sweating. I think she's so excited. Look at all your dapples. Yes, let's... Ooh. Stop it. Maggie! I think we just need to get her on the lorry.
what a good girl. I just wondered if she wouldn't load because the last 2 times she's been in such pain. With being with the lorry, that's really good, isn't it? Maggie, Maggie.
Another broken plate, another called off date. We never seem to get it right. Another heart attack, words that we can't take back. We are the reason opposites attract. Once you slam the door on the second floor, I regret it all. When I think it through, I can help the way I feel for you. You make me lose my mind like all the time. It still feels right. Stuck in an endless fight like every night. It still feels right. Even the worst can sting. I wanna change a thing, 'cause without you everything means nothing. You make me lose my mind like all the time. It still feels right. Sitting there by the phone, hoping you'll answer yours. Baby, let's talk until we're fine.
Okay, Maggie's first dressage test back since being so poorly. Look at how beautifully they had dressed the arena here. I walked in and honestly thought that we weren't going to be getting near anything because look at all those flowers. I mean, it's fantastic practice for the horses, but poor Maggie, who hasn't been out to see the world, I really didn't think that she would cope very well, and yet, yes, she's sticking her head up a little and just having a look, but actually she's trotting around great. Obviously with the setup where we went, you can't get around the edge of the arena, so you get to work in it while the judges writing up their notes. So you'll have noticed from Mum's clips of my warm-up, I did quite a bit of leg yielding and stretching her down and over her back and some counter canter just to get her ready for the test. So we do the Novice 28 here, and it's pretty much one of the easier novice tests. All it has is, beyond a prelim, is a medium trot and half 15-metre circles back to the tracking canter with a little bit of counter canter. So we just do a little bit of a leg yield here, and then she wants to shoot back the other way, bless her. She likes doing her sideways stuff these days, but I was really chuffed because we've got all of this time that we're just able to work around the arena and get soft and supple, and you know, and I'm just so glad to have her back. Look at her just trotting around. She's really trying her hardest. She's listening to me. She's not bothering about the horse next door. She's not bothering about all of the boards. And yes, she is very green for her in her schooling, but she's going pretty well, I'd say. So I really cashed in on all of this time in the arena just to work her and keep improving our way of going. She wasn't feeling tired or anything like that. So we just kept going and I was able to ride to how she felt. So I'm just popping out of the arena now because I've rung the bell. Bit of a tricky one to get back in because there's not much space, but you know, it's the same for everybody and we work around that. So she came down, she did a lovely straight entry. I think I overcompensated for going one side of the block and came a bit too far across. So first mark was a 6.5 to right of the centre line, and then we've got to trot round to A, for which we got a 7. I mean, there's not much you can say about that, pretty good. And then at A you start a 3 loop serpentine, and I was just so pleased at her. Look at this frame, you know, to say she's only just on her way back in. She's done lots of hacking, not quite as much schooling. And yeah, her contact's not fully steady, but it's still pretty good. All the building blocks are in the right place. So we got fair shape, slightly against hand, which you could see. Then as you finish the serpentine, you pop up into canter and head off for a 20-metre circle. So first half of my 20-metre circle was too large, which I very much realised when I had to do a bit of the long side on the track. But it was better afterwards, but we got a 6.5. And then we canter all the way around to the other side of the arena. And for Maggie, she has a very, very big canter. So I've been amazed that she's come back so well. And it's just, I said to Mum, yes, she's a bit green and her muscles need to come back up again. But actually, it feels like she's come back a bit where she left off, which is fantastic. And then this is a bit of canter here. And she just sort of got a little bit strung out. So we got a 7 for our canter around the edge and a 6.5 for our turn back with too large and well coped. So I think I was just making life a bit easier for her, giving her a bit more space, but that's okay. Then we do our serpentine. And she liked our transition to trot. We got a 7 for that as well. Look at that canter transition. So our serpentine was 6.5, just because she was coming a little bit low. But I'm raving over that canter transition because she did a lovely, lovely canter transition. Unfortunately, we only got a 6.5. But it's because the mark includes a circle as well. And it was a little bit too large again. I was just constantly giving Maggie a bit of extra space, and like I said, we hadn't really come out for the competitiveness, but even so, I'm so chuffed with this. And then we did our half 15-metre circle, and this was much better with the canter, which is interesting because this is her trickier rein, and she just had a little trip here, but didn't she hold her composure well? I was so chuffed with her. And then now we changed rein, medium trot. I was really pleased. She struggles a little bit with her medium trot, but it's actually really coming on now. And we got a 7 for that, with some difference shown, which is all they ask for. Our transition to walk was a 6.5. I got told off for not riding into the corner enough. And then our free walk, we got our best mark of 7.5 with bold steps and stretching. She's got such a super walk. You really can't fault it. And then we have to walk down the centre line, so I was making sure that we didn't jig jog or anything, but like I keep saying, she was just trying so hard. I think she was happy to be back out. And we do our halt at X. And again, I think, to be honest, a bit of an error on my part. I wasn't quite on the centre line. So we got marked down slightly for that with a 6.5. But she was a square and the judge didn't like that she came above the bridle a bit in the halt. But I think she was saying hello to them. So even so chuffed with her. What a good girl. What a good girlie she was. I've just quickly washed her off and untacked her and popped her back on the lorry. Off camera, obviously, because now I'm helping one of my clients who is here warm up, and then I'll give you a better debrief. Mum's been a good egg and got me a drink. Good. Change the rein on your short diagonal. Good. And then I want you to go around to that lamppost, do a half 10-metre circle back to the centre and then a half 10-metre circle back the other way. So looking round, turn your shoulders. Good girl. Steady. Steady. Yeah, good. And then do another one. Just think, bring the revs down half up. So it's just slightly steadier to help with your turn. That's it. Good. Now look the other way. Good. Better. See how much easier that was? One more. Keep it in that steadier. Looking. Turn your shoulders fully. That's it. That's the trot you want. Good girl. So we've got a little bit of time. But I just thought you might find this amusing. So I'm stood at the edge of the arena because we're not allowed to go in and stand to warm people up. But I couldn't see over the fence. So I've got a little mountain block, which is doing the job beautifully. So Gracie's got 20 minutes, so I've told her she can walk for 10 minutes because we've had a nice canter, and then we'll pick her up and go in, and then I've got my dressage test so we can do a debrief in a bit. I was very, very pleased with Miss Maggie Moo. Gonna call a test for her as well. Doesn't she look smart? Well, you good girl, Moo. She's been asleep on the lorry while I've been helping Gracie out. Hi, sweetheart. A little bit flinchy. There's a good girl. I've just popped her boots on and it's time to go home. Good girl. You tired? Oh, she loves to rest her head on the locker for a snooze. Good girl. Sleepy girl. Oh, we're home. I honestly could not be prouder with Miss Maggie May. She behaved impeccably. She was like the softest, cutest little pony at the lorry. She's travelled well, which to say she's not travelled in 6 months is mad. Mum's dropped me at the yard so I could pick up her rug, and she's just reversing around to where we park up to unload so Maggie can go straight out and have a bit of time in the field. She tried so hard in her test. She's not been at a schooling level where she's been ready to go compete. She's not still in the contact yet or anything like that, but I really wanted her just to start getting out and about again. And you know what, she tried so hard, and she actually produced a really smart test, given she's, you know, not where we have her yet. Can I do this one-handed? No, 2 seconds. Go. Down. Hello, beautiful girl. Yeah, so, you know, given the schooling level, I'd say she produced the best test she's produced since coming back. Like, she went the best she possibly could go. She had flowers to contend with and all sorts. I'd entered her for the Novice 28 because I didn't see much point in just, sorry, I'm trying to multitask, just doing prelim. What's that, sorry? No, it's not fair because Maggie's just, it's a small show, it's a small unaffiliated show. There's a lot of people bringing the baby horses out or having their first goes at competing and whatever, and you know, so realistically, even at this stage, Maggie is quite an established horse. She's good at what she does. So the Novice 28 is more of a fair level. We're not out pot hunting or anything like that. Hello, baby. And like for her, she was ready to do it. It's one of the easier novice tests. It's only got one medium trot and a little bit of counter-cantering. So, you know, I just thought that was the fairest way round to do it. If not, I would have done like a prelim, but hawk and claw, not competitive, because we're not, sorry, I'm battling with this. Yeah. Steady. Did you just fall over? You know, we're not out there to go and get a rosette or anything. We're just out to get her a trip on the lorry and back out in the game. And with that, she did really well, didn't you, Maggie? So I'm going to unload her now, pop you in the field, aren't we, Maggie May? Good girl. So she can go and have a little bit of time with her Titan. Stand up, sweetheart. This is good practice. She stood on the lorry the whole time after when I was helping Gracie warm up and with her test. So I think she's quite tired now, aren't you, baby? Not that she looks it. She is tired though. So we'll get her out and we will say thank you very, very much for watching, and see you next time, where we're going to go and start. I don't know what the next vlog will be, but at some point, competition wise, Maggie is going to start doing a bit of BD and we'll see how that goes. So until then, see ya. I also just wanted to quickly pop on and say how much of a big milestone this is for us, having not even known if we'd bring her home from the vets. It's a pretty big deal, isn't it, Mags? I must admit I was feeling a little bit emotional towards the end of my test, and Mum was saying the same. She could have cried for joy with the way Maggie's come back and the fact that we've got her back. So yeah, happy days. Right then, girlie, let's get you in the field. Good girl. Look at the state of you.
Oh,